Hi, welcome back to another YouTube video of mine. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience with art fairs. So my experience with art fairs has been a learning process. It's really gotten my foot in the door as far as my art business goes, getting exposure, getting commissions. It's been a really interesting journey, and I am just going to talk today about how some of my art shows went and what I sold, how much of a profit that I made, and just my overall experience. So the first show that I ever did was Strawberry Fest in 2023. This was my first show out of the 5 shows that I've done, and it was by far my biggest profited show ever that I've done. It was such a great experience. I got commissions, I got my foot in the door, I got the exposure. There was so much foot traffic, and I just got to meet a lot of people that I hadn't met before. There's a couple customers of mine for my art business that I met that day, and they have continued to show support throughout all of the shows that I've done. So this show, the booth price was about $50, and I made a profit about $650, which means I made about $700 for that show. So at this show, I sold about 80% of my products, and it was definitely a show to remember. I will always remember and cherish this day with all of my heart because it was just such a good first experience for me, dipping my feet into the pool of art shows. So for this first show, we had like a 10 by 10 booth, and for the first show, I didn't realize how much of a wind issue we would have. Some of my paintings were like blowing over. We had them on these like wire stands that I would just set my canvases in, and it was a big issue. I created a banner for my booth. I really wanted to like sell my image as aesthetic artistry. So that was another addition that we added for that first time. And then we made this board that had our twine across that we'd hang my watercolors on. That was one of our ideas that we had to showcase some of my work. So the next art fair that I did was the Angola Art Festival. At this festival, I didn't really sell that much. It was a big difference from the previous show that I had done. The booth was about $50 and I made about $100, so I only made about a $50 profit. But it was really nice because I got to meet new people that I hadn't met before, being in a different town, and I really enjoyed the experience nonetheless. Another thing to note about this show is it was the first annual show that they had ever had for the festival, so there wasn't as much foot traffic, and less foot traffic means less sales. Overall though, I love art shows, I love festivals, and being there was just a great experience in general. For my second show, we had about the same setup. We still had the same issue with wind, but I think I sold mostly stickers, and that's because I added this little tray that had sticker holders in it. And I think that really helped sell because they were set out in a way like that. The next show that I did was the Apple Fest in 2023. This was my third show, and I made around $400, and the booth price was about $50, so overall I profited about $350 for this show. This show I really enjoyed because I did a lot of ghost paintings and more Halloween themed art, and you know, that's my vibe, so I was really enjoying it. One of the greatest things about doing art shows is having your friends and family show up for you, but also meeting people that you've never met before, or having customers from the past come back to your booth and show the same excitement that they had before. I really love art shows for the simple fact that I'm just getting exposure, and people walking by my booth, even if they don't buy something, they're seeing my art. That is like my #1 goal, is I want to share my art with people, and art shows and art fairs and festivals make that happen. For my third show, I was all by myself. I set up all by myself. I started hanging my paintings by the table. So we added like little command hook strips to the table underneath the cloth, and I would hang the paintings up on the table. This avoided the wind issue. They didn't blow off the table as easily, and it really solved a lot of my problems when it came to that. So the fourth show that I did was in 2024, and I did the Strawberry Fest of 2024. This show It was very hot, and I don't really remember how much I sold at this show, but I do know that the booth price was $50 yet again. I don't remember how much I profited or how much I made, but I remember this show I sold a little bit more than the last, so it was a really nice refresher to get my foot out there again. And I just really enjoyed Strawberry Fest. The vibes are just so good. You know, strawberries and happiness and summertime. It's really a good time. For my 4th show, that Christmas, right before this show, I got wall grid hangings. So we use that to avoid the wind issue. Having some sturdy background to hang your paintings on is a really good way to showcase, and it catches eyes, and it also is a good way to avoid the wind issue. Another thing that I did is I put weights behind some of my paintings and set them down on the floor. It's not as good when it comes to people walking in and maybe ruining your paintings, but it's another way to avoid wind when they're down lower. So the most recent show that I had done is the Jericho Fair. The Jericho Fair was about an hour away from me. I got invited to it and signed up through an application process online, and I got accepted. I was so excited to do this fair. It was very, very hot that day, but it was a lot of fun. I used different ways of displaying my art, and I figured that with the wind, it would be much easier to display if I hung it on the top rung of my tent, which I think made me sell more. I think a lot of people, when they're bypassing your tent, they tend to look up, not down. So having things that were higher up and like in your face really, I think, helped me in this sense. There wasn't that much foot traffic, but because I did that with my tent, I think I got more profit than I would have if I hadn't done that. So at this fair, I made about $400. The price for the booth was about $100, so I made about a profit of $300. One of the greatest things about this show was that I sold a lot of my bigger pieces. Tend to not sell a lot about my bigger pieces. Usually the smaller pieces sell first, but I sold some of my bigger canvases, which really was such a good feeling to get some of those bigger pieces out of there. One, because I didn't really have that much room back home for them, but also just selling the bigger pieces, you know that that person is really committed to that piece if they're buying something that's that big. For my 5th show at the Jericho Fair, I ended up using my canopy as a wall hanging. So I would use the same grid and the sticker holders and down on the floor idea, but I had some S-hooks that I hooked onto my canopy and hanged my canvases up on them. This really prevented a lot of the wind catching because the canvas behind the canopy to avoid the wind from catching the canvas from blowing away. So these were just some of the ideas that I came up with for avoiding wind issues and better setup time. Other than art shows, I've held a couple pop-up teach me how to paint in SIPs, and I've had my art displayed at my local yoga studio. I've had a lot of opportunities to make money with art, but my best go-to avenue for that would probably be art festivals and fairs. I love doing art festivals and fairs so much, and I can't wait to do them this year. I probably will do like a vlog video for my fairs this year. So look forward to that, of my Strawberry Fest and Apple Fest videos. Maybe I'll do some other fairs, I don't really know. Those are my usual go-tos, but we'll see. I'm really happy to all of you who have been to my art fairs and have bought those pieces. Thank you so much for supporting me, and also all of you who are watching, thank you for supporting these videos. I'm seeing the views go up slowly and surely. I'm very happy and excited to continue to do this for you guys. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope that you liked this video and enjoyed my experience with art fairs and art shows and festivals and farmers markets, and yeah, I just can't wait to make more videos for you guys, and I'm very thankful that you guys have been watching. So thank you, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!